Good morning, afternoon, wherever we are now. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. If you follow me on my page, you will know that I've been to the dentist this morning, which is why we are now just clicking over into the afternoon to go live rather than Friday morning. So you'll be pleased to know I've been back long enough to have made myself a cup of tea, and my teeth are all still intact. We passed all of that. We're absolutely fine. It was just a checkup. So we're here now to do a little bit of crafting. So let me just do a bit of introduction and bring you up to date on some news and some things to share before we get stuck in. So this is my website, www.loveaduckie.co.uk, and this is the place where you are going to find all of my links to shops, my blog posts, um, downloadable tutorial bundles, retired stock, all of those things you're going to find on my website. So do go and check that out. As I say, it's loveaduckie.co.uk. Um, and yeah, so, and if you're looking for me anywhere on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, then look out for Love-a-Duckie, and that's hopefully where you will find me. Hi, Neat. Good morning, good afternoon, good lunchtime. Perhaps some of you are sitting with a sandwich. I shall go and get one when we've finished. Um, but yes, so some other things to look out for. So there's been some new things that are available because we are now into March. So one of the new things that is available is this gorgeous new colourful kaleidoscope kit. Morning, Lisa. This has just launched 1st of March, so it's been around for a couple of days. Hi, Jackie. Um, a beautiful kit. It's a £22 kit. You get your everything that you need in there, apart from potentially a pair of scissors you might need to cut any ribbon or twine or anything. But apart from that, you have everything there ready to go to create those beautiful kaleidoscope cards. So that is just one of the kits that are currently available online. And the other things, you will find the kits alongside the other new things that have been launched this week, which is the online exclusives. And I did actually do a quick live that you will find sitting both on my YouTube channel and in my Facebook page and group, um, around the new online exclusives and what those products are. So the online exclusives are a new set of products that have been released, but they're not going to be released into a catalogue. They are released into the online shop. So that is where you're going to find them. And if they are there and available, then they are available to buy. If they disappear, that means that they are, that they've finished their run. They were a while stocks last. Other things will be coming back, so they may not be currently available, but it will say currently unavailable. So if you check out the online store, you'll be able to see those things and yeah, enjoy them. There's some lovely products in there, and you will be seeing them popping up on blog posts and in classes and on Facebook and YouTube lives. So you'll see them appearing all around the place, not just from me, but from other demonstrators. So there is stamps and dies and sweets and bundles and embossing folders. There's ribbon and embellishments, all sorts of things. Some punches. They've brought back some of the circle punches, which has caused great excitement. So that is certainly something to go and check out. And alongside, as I say, alongside all the new products for the online exclusives, you'll find the kit collection with all the different kits. And you'll also find some branded merchandise that you're able to buy as well. So all of those things are sitting over there in the online shop. So do check them out. And I said that some of those things may appear coming up in classes. Who knows? Here are some upcoming classes and events that we've got coming up into March and into the beginning of April. So we have a Make One, Take One project class is coming up on the 14th of March, and that features either the True Beauty or the the vintage Pretty Bird kits. So do come and join us for that. You can either come along in person on the morning of the 14th of March, or you can choose to have one or both kits sent to you in the post. The stamper stack for March is going to be for April. I apologise. This is looking forward to April. The stamper stack for April is going to be using the Silly Goose stamp set. At the end of March, we've got a games night coming up. They're always great fun. That's via Zoom. So wherever you are in the country, you could come and join us for that. Tomorrow, we have got a Saturday Stampers. So I've got a busy afternoon planned, continuing to prepare for that and get things ready for that. So that's going to be exciting, looking at springtime things. Looking forward to April, beginning of April, April the 1st, actually. And this is no joke. We're going to be looking at masculine cards. The stamper stack for March, which is on the 21st of March, is going to be playing with the Fancy Flora Suite. And our technique class in March is going to be looking at ways that we can make cards that move, or elements that move on our cards. So that will be good fun. So those are upcoming classes. Also just opened up in terms of booking is the craft retreat, the June craft retreat. So this is running on the 3rd of June, Saturday the 3rd of June. We'd love to have you there in person. Places are limited, so don't wait too long to put your hand up and say, I would like to be there. So that's happening on the 3rd of June, the all-day craft retreat. And if you can't make it in person, then there is the option to have a retreat in a box. And the details for all of those classes and all of that excitement is over on my website. So do go and check that out. Lots happening. Quick celebrity. Right, I'm going to bring in my downward facing camera and I'm going to share with you a few more of those swaps that I've been sharing that I had recently that are highlighting things from the January to April mini catalogue. So this card has been created by Leslie Kilby, and she is highlighting this cane weave embossing folder. Isn't this beautiful? And the Something Fancy sentiments and dies. So these things are from the annual catalogue, but these are things that you'll find in the mini catalogue, and things that it might be easy to overlook, that the Something Fancy stamps, sentiment stamps, and the dies that go with it, really, really useful. And this is a really, really pretty embossing folder. We've got a bunny. So my cards that I put into the swap had the bunny on it. He's really rather beautiful. Ooh, there's a dimensional back just there that's sneaked in. Let's take him out. But this one has been coloured with blends. I really like the way this is Laura Mackie who has done this. She's done the blending around the outside of the insert as well. I love the way that she's stapled down this corner with a bow. That's quite fun. Showing a peek of the cardstock underneath it. So that's quite a fun card. Beautiful blending in the background there. Really lovely. With that little happy Easter bunny. This one is using the Fancy Flora Suite. So this front piece here is actually paper. Is a piece of the DSP. You've got this border just here with a splatter embossing folder going on, but it's highlighting the paper and the gorgeous stamps in this Fancy Flora Suite. I love the 2-step stamping, the effect that gives you on these flowers. And we've got a little flower inside as well, friend. That's really lovely. A paper hug from me. Beautiful. Here we have these flowers from the Dainty Delight. Went blank then. The Dainty Delight stamp set. So they are stamped with what I would think behind gone a bit funky on our camera. I wonder why that is. I will check it in a minute and make sure that it's on the right internet. So yeah, so this has had that watercolor wash in the background and some embossing in the background, and the sentiment comes from the charming sentiments with the matching dies. That's a really pretty card with that 30 flamingo, some Petal Lane, Regency Park Suite. So we've got this, the papers and the flowers that have been stamped and punched in that Petal Lane suite. It's a really pretty card. I like that colour combo. That really pops, doesn't it? Thinking of you. You've got a bit of By the Bay. Got some of the papers and that suite. And the little birds. That's really nice little card. And last but not least in this little selection, the Country Floral Lane DSP, which has been embossed. So she's created this strip of the papers and then embossed it. That's really effective. And then this stamped heart on the front. So lucky to call you friend. That's really lovely. And I don't know whether we've got a name on that. Angela Malcolm. So there's a few more little ideas from other demonstrators that we have gathered from that card swap. It's always lovely to see what other people make and how they interpret things and what ideas they have. Now we shall probably only do one card today just because this has been a manic week where I've done lots of things that have, you know, weren't necessarily planned for at the beginning of the week, that has taken me away from the jobs in hand, and has mean that I'm running behind schedule. But that doesn't mean we don't want to stop and do a bit of card. I'm going to take a piece of very vanilla, thick, very vanilla cardstock, and I've got it so that the full length is down this way, the width across here, and I'm going to cut it at 14.9, and I've done that because I want to make a square card, and that's the biggest size square card you can make from a piece of our A4 cardstock. Because obviously we know that if we score a piece of A4, we normally score it at 14 or cut it at 14.9 to get half. So yes, that gives us a 14.9 by 14.9 square card, which is just a little bit shy of 6-inch square. It's about 5 3/4. If you were doing this, if you wanted to make the big square card out of letter size cardstock, if you are in the part of the world that uses letter size, then you'd have to go for a 5.5 inch wide, scored at 5.5. So it would be slightly smaller because your cardstock is slightly shorter than ours, albeit a smidge wider. But there we go. So we've got a nice, very vanilla card base there. I've got myself a piece of suede just here. And I'm going to cut this at 14.4 square. It's lovely to do square cards occasionally. It does mean that, you know, you're limited to how many you can get out of a piece of cardstock, whereas you could get sort of 2 C6 size cards. You can only get one square one like this from a piece of cardstock. We're going to have that as a mat, and then we'll take a piece of very vanilla cardstock. I won't use that one, it's got a bit of a mark in it. Let's take this one. I'm going to cut this down to 13.9 square. So those numbers are very familiar. 14.9, 14.4 and 13.9. It's often sizes of one side of a mat when we're creating cards here in the UK or elsewhere where they use metric sizing. So if you were doing this with your 5.5 inch square card, obviously you need to make that 5 1/4 and 5 inches square. So there we have our basic card base. Now what we're going to be doing today is I'm taking part in a blog hop over the weekend that is looking at the kissing technique. And funnily enough, the kissing technique was a technique that we had in a technique class at the end of February. February's technique class featured kissing. No, it didn't. January's technique class featured kissing technique. So it's something we've been exploring relatively recently. So I had a bit of a look to see what stamp sets I'd got that looked like they might enjoy a bit of kissing. And the ones I have come up with is the Botanical layers, and particularly this leaf just here. So the Botanical layers has got these different sort of foliage stamps on it, but I've particularly picked on this sort of slightly more solid leaf image there, because if you're doing the kissing technique, you do need one image to be to have sort of slightly solid base, and the other one I'm going to use from here is going to be this script, because what you get with the kissing technique is some sort of texture onto the surface of it, onto your stamped image. So we're sort of adding elements of texture to our stamped image. So let's take the script stamp from the Quiet Meadow. I'm also going to use this blobby stamp in a minute. And I'm going to take some soft suede. So I'm going for fairly sort of neutrally, almost, it's not quite monochromatic, because, you know, we've got that splash of, well, I suppose it is. We're just using Berry Vanilla as the background, so it is slightly monochromatic. I'm going to ink up, obviously losing a bit of sticky on the back of that stamp. I'm going to ink up my leaf image, and then I'm going to take my script image and I'm going to stamp it over the top. So I'm literally kissing the two stamps together and come on down. I don't know whether you can quite pick up on the surface of that stamp, but we've lifted some of the ink off of it with our scripty stamp. So hopefully when we stamp this, that's not shown up ever so well. Let's try again. I'm going to just do that, because that's definitely picked up some ink off the top of there. I'm not wasting the ink I took off of there either. You can just about see the scripty sort of images that are coming in there. What I might do, let's try stamping that off a bit. Let's see if that was any better. It's not showing up ever so well, so that's not the best stamp to be doing it with. I'm just going to repeat it again over here, just because that will give us a bit of It's giving it a bit of a texture, but you're not actually picking up the script on it. Let's have a look and see if spots make a difference. Can see that a little bit better where you got the spotty image coming in down there. It's picked up those spots. Let's add in some of those spots on there. And we'll try that one again. Bring this in on this side. Oh yeah, you can definitely see just here where you've got this spotty image coming through. You can see a little bit on here where there's a bit of script coming through, but it's not ever so clear. What I'm going to do is take some soft suede ink and come in around the edge. So what we've done is we've lifted off, as it's drying, you can see some of the script coming through to give that a bit of texture. We've lifted the ink off of the leaf stamp by kissing the two stamps together, but then we've also used the ink that we lifted onto there to come back on. To our card front. Sponge this all the way around. Give that a little bit of a vintagey look. Now we need some sort of a label in here. We'll bring this one. Let's just die cut a little bit of very vanilla cardstock with that label. To bring in the Thinking of You from the Quiet Meadow stamp. There's a Thinking of You in both the Quiet Meadow and the Botanical leaves, but I think I want the long one from the that in the center there. Let's come back in with our leaf. And let's kiss those together. Kiss, 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 kiss. Come back in with our blending brush. Oh, I've managed to put a blob on there. Sure, we'll find something in a minute to cover that up. Going to grab a bit of soft suede, if I can find some. Because I think I just need another barrier between that label and the background. On there, I'll take my large scissors. Just give that a slightly more of a frame. I lift that up there. I'm rummaging through my ribbons back there. And have a bit of that stitched ribbon, I think, coming across there. Snip that off there, and I shall stick that on in a second. And we'll have something else coming on there in a minute. So let's just add that on there. on there. So we've just used the one colour ink for this one. Oh, that's not good. I'll put our ribbon on. Let's quickly lift that before it sticks in place, because we need to pop our ribbon on. Quick, quick. I'll just add a bit of tape on the back to hold it down. Let's add in a little bit swirl more glue just to help it to adhere. And we'll come in with some dimensionals on here. Just going to rip these off around the edges, not being particularly fancy. It's going either side of that ribbon in the middle, so I don't want to necessarily add any height in the middle there. Have a little look. What embellishments shall we go for? Might come with some of these vintage dots here. Let's add some of those in. So you can just about see, you can see there on those leaves, you've got some sort of detail in the back there that's giving it some sort of texture, but on these ones here you can definitely see where the spots are coming through on those leaves where we've done a bit of kissing. Just see the script coming through on there as well. Well, Janet, there you go. This kissing is open to anybody. You don't need to frighten any passers-by in the street by running up to them. You can get your stamps kissing. And we have all of our sort of big background stamps. Those are quite good for this sort of technique as well. And things like, let's think, what is it? Beautiful shapes, is it beautiful? Just looking round. Hello, beautiful. I know it got beautiful in it. So things like these Hello Beautiful stamps are quite good for kissing techniques as well. So we could go back to our she says optimistically. Oh, here it is. Go back to our scripty stamp just here. Just make sure I've taken the ink off of there. And if we put this beautiful shape one on here, let's go with oh, let's have some real red. We ink up, and I wonder actually if the photopolymer stamps, because they're sort of slightly softer, whether they're not slightly more amenable to some kissing. Let's just have a little scrap piece of paper here. You can see there, you've got that scripty background. Again, stamp that off first. And you can see that effect in the background there. And then again, if we take this stamp and stamp it, where it's picked the ink up from the other stamp, you can go on to stamp that. So if you've never tried kissing with your stamps before, that's what it's all about. But you do need to find one stamp that is sort of like the scripts and the spots and something that's going to add some texture, and the other stamp needs to be something of a solid-ish image that you can then imprint that texture into. So yep, so when you come to the kissing stamp technique, you need a textured couple. Your couple needs to be one part textured, one part solid, in order to get the effect of kissing. And it just adds some texture and a little bit of variation to your surface of your stamped image. So I hope that you've enjoyed checking out some kissing with me on this Friday morning. I think that's quite enough of that. And I need to go and get back on with my long to-do list. But it's been lovely just to take some time out to be with you on this Friday lunchtime. And I will now go and get some lunch, and I will be back with you all on Monday. So whatever you're doing, have a lovely weekend, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon.